Hello Converge collectors. So today we're going over the recent release of the second release of the Operation Jaburo set from the Gundam Converge series. You'll notice this photo before. In the past they did this in Operation Jaburo, but there was 8 figures in one box. Those figures there. But they're trying to, reuse their molds and make money off their molds, which is understandable. So the only difference is that I can see from the old ones or the stock figures that you can buy outside of this set is they have a little Xeon logo printed here, and I think like the other one is the Earth Federation, or the good guys versus the bad guys. It's kind of an ill-named set because the more important robots from this particular Operation Jaburo, besides this one, aren't even, they're not even these. They're like an Act guy and a Gog and stuff like that. But all right, whatever. So let's open these up and well, let's see. Does it have a date? That's really weird. Converge usually has a date as to when these come out, but not this. And then here's a basic back that is common to Converge boxes, basic stats here of this robot, and then the other figures from the wave, which are all going to be discussed today. So besides the actual printing of that logo on the chest, the only other difference is the base has printing. As you can see, it's like a camouflage base. I'm actually going to save this gum because I know this set came out this year, so that gum should be good to go. So I'm going to open up this one, and then maybe I'll just fast forward to the others. I've reviewed, I think, all these figures before, just they didn't have the marking on it. But I do think some of the paint apps are different than before. So first again is this base. They actually left the black for where the feet go, and that one peg there is meant to go into the bottom of the foot here. And so yeah, you got some nice molded details as typical of Converge figures, and then we got some shiny metallic arms and leg sections. That's the hatch to get into the robot, these vents here, and then this is I don't recall that coming off, or maybe it shouldn't come off. It would be nice if this moved, but it doesn't. This eye is definitely different, I think, from the other one. It's very pink. It's not metallic though. So this you might want to glue in place, or at least put some poster putty in there so it doesn't fall off easily. And yeah, that's it really. That's the main difference from the stock one. I'll pull out the stock ones later on. But I want to, have the best. I really like this one in particular, the Z-Gok. And then these arms will move. Let's break the paint loose. There you go. There's even some molded detail over there. Okay, and then these claws, these are rigid though, so they will break if you drop this from like a bookshelf, so be careful of that. And then yeah, these definitely look different from the standard issue. They're like a glossy gray. This is driving me nuts. Hold on. Alright, that one's crazy good in place. This one is basically just a blue variation. So the red one is the ringleader of the bad guys in the original Gundam television show or movie, Char. So he's the leader of the Operation Jaburo, where they were trying to basically destroy or capture some of the Gundams from being developed, and so they infiltrated the base. This again is really loose. I crazy glued this one, but I'm afraid that might not be a good idea because the vapor of the crazy glue might make this become cloudy. So I think on this one I'm gonna put in some poster putty because that never hardens. I can always remove it if I have to later, but it should be tight enough that that thing shouldn't come off. Alright, so again, this one has metallic for the arms and stuff, but it seems different. See, on the left it's like bluer, whereas this looks just more metallic. It seems like a different metallic color, so that's neat. So it's good to just break the paint loose, I think, on these before you try to. If you just twist it, I think you might actually rip the peg off. So Then this one has like aqua colored claws. And sadly, not enough paint on this backpack. I think the backpack is like a white plastic, and it's not covering it up very well. So that's bad QC on Bandai's part, or whoever makes these guys for Bandai. Alright, so these are the 4 good guys, I guess, that you're rooting for. Yeah, basic stats again. This is a RX-78 2. And oddly enough, this RX-78 doesn't look at all like the RX-78 from Operation Jaburo, I believe, right? The original Gundam RX-78 is basically just white. Unless I'm mistaken, I mean, I did see the first movies, so I don't recall them being this color. So maybe it's just a way for them to create different colorways, which for me actually works, because if it looks significantly different from everything else I have, I'll keep it. Alright, so that antenna stub is really short. You might want to crazy glue that one in place. The heads on these are on a peg, so you can see the details here. The eyes are translucent, and there's like yellow or gold way back there behind it, so a lot of depth and detail. Alright, I crazy glued that antenna in place. There's nice metallic for the neck here. It looks like metal. It's pretty crazy, that paint. The shield is on a peg, and decent enough details in the back, but this is all splanked off. That should be hollow. But it's nice that you have the RX-78 molded in there, and the Earth Federation Space Force, I think. I forget what ESFF stands for. And then the arms are on a peg as well, but the paint might be a little stuck, so be mindful of that. Look at this elbow. It's even got the gunmetal there in the elbow. So it's green, black, really cool. The hand though, you know what? That is a separate piece, so you can rotate that around. Not much detail behind the shoulder. Gunmetal again. That really pops out, that gunmetal against all these other matte colors. And there's that tiny little logo there. Yeah, nice foot details. In the back we have some thrusters. This is a much darker metallic backpack. And there's some sort of peg there. This thing comes with 2 weapons, so let's maybe store one in the back. Let's see. So here's your standard issue rifle, and this has EFSF printed in there, or molded in there. I don't recall the other one doing that, but we'll have to see. So that can pop into this hand. It's pretty loose, and sadly it's like the same color, right? So it kind of blends away. And then you have this bazooka, and that's got some decent molded details there, and this peg. So that, well, first I guess I'll put it in here. Oh, wait a second. Oh, wait, this comes out, doesn't it? So if you want to mount the bazooka, you're going to have to put the handle in up here through the bottom. Yeah, you know what, maybe it has to go in this way. Oh, but there's an actual shape to this. So that's kind of weird. Oh no, never mind. It is supposed to go this way. Alright, so hold on. Feed that through the bottom of the hand, and then back into the bazooka. There you go. And then it rests on the shoulder, pretty in there. Well, unfortunately the beam saber is kind of in the way, but it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, not so bad. Although, yeah, you might want to put in hot water to straighten it out. I'm not going to display it with the bazooka though, anyways, because it covers up too much of the robot. So we'll just pop that back in here, and then we're going to use that peg to go into this thing here. There we go. Okay, so it's also the EFSF molded in there. And we'll just use the regular rifle here. This arm peg, or this hand peg, is pretty loose. Might want some poster putty there. Alright, so the bases look all identical as far as their printing, it seems. Alright, we have a GM from this RGM-79. You don't really even need the stands at all. Almost all Converges will stand on their own. We got a tiny little pistol looking thing. It's very cute. We'll just pop that in the hand here. And the hands are separate. They can rotate. There you go. Break the shoulder loose a little. Alright. Bottom of feet detail, standard stuff. Kind of plain up here. Not many panel grooves or details. The backpack there, one beam saber handle molded in but painted white. There's the peg for the shield, and again the shield is blanked off, which I feel is kind of weak. And then oddly this one just has no molded in details at all, like the other one, which is kind of weak. I mean, if the other ones can do it, why can't this? There's gunmetal in the shoulders there. None in the kneecaps though. There's that little logo. Some yellow, black. Look at the head of this thing though. It's got some molded details behind that translucent green. And there's also some green up there. So that's interesting. Very plain looking back here though. And you'll notice that the backpack fell off. So I'm going to glue that in place. Just a little crazy glue enough to keep it from falling out. Alright, that's that one. If you actually want to learn about the robots, you can look up in my channel the actual gun tank, and I've pulled up Fandom and discussed it a little bit. But you really just want to look up Gundam gun tank, and Fandom will come up with all the stats and the story of its development and all that stuff. This gun's got a lot going on here. So, I'm gonna need some clippers here. This is really this is soft vinyl, so this is nice. You know, I'm not afraid that they're gonna snap or break if I accidentally drop the thing. And naturally you're going to see the raw PVC or whatnot where you clip it off. I'm too lazy to go over it with paint, so leave it alone. So these cannons are super shiny, glossy, metallic color. They're so shiny I can't focus on them. It makes sense to probably put these in first. You have giant holes for them. What? They're... Oh, I see. The holes are a different size, so you're forced to put them in the proper side. And in that case, it goes this way. Oh, the whole head comes off. And then you have a nice clear cockpit, right? Yeah, it's neat, right? Alright, nice molded details underneath there. And so being a round peg, you can, well, now the cockpit's colliding back here, so you only have like a very few degrees of movement there. And so the gun cannons here go in these slots. I don't think there's a, I don't know if there's a left or right. I feel like these should be glued in. I mean, there's not much friction going. There's not much of a peg here. I don't think they had a choice because they have this arm piece, which has its own peg. So there you go. It's also weird, you know, that they have this chamfer. They basically, I think, I don't know. I kind of wish the arm would rotate more, but it can't because it's literally forced against this blue piece. So you can't really move the arm up that much or back that much because it's not supposed to, I guess. Alright, anyways, the arms and cannons here are like a metallic color. You have the treads there, like a matte black, the red, the yellow, that logo again. Some sort of a thruster or engine dissipation, heat dissipation or something. Yeah, it looks alright. And then this doesn't have a, you know, peg because it's a tank, but that means you probably have to like use some poster putty to mount it in place. Otherwise it's gonna roll around on you and fall off that thing. Okay, last one. We got the gun cannon, RX-77 II. Alright, but on the feet details, like a matte gray color. Unfortunately the gun is really warped. Might want to dip that in hot water to straighten it out. It's a really funky looking gun. Really funky. The body's like it's not glossy, but it's not matte. It's kind of in between. I guess it's more glossy than it is matte. That's interesting. And again, kind of plain in its detailing. Alright. The head. Nice big peg. Look at the optics on this one. A lot of molded details behind that blue lens. It's pretty neat. The red's done well. This must be for that piece that was separate. And this thing here. I'm gonna come back after I glue that. Alright. So that's what it looks like with these particular cannons, but if you want to, you can take off this backpack, which is like a metallic purple of all things. Same with the cannons. They can come out of these slots. And then you can put these more like retro looking rocket launcher things into those spaces. And then put the backpack back on. And that's what that looks like. Yeah, they're molded a little bit off from each other. The hands again are separate pieces. You just gotta break the paint loose. There you go. So I got a whole bunch of gum to chew on. So here it is with the really old Z-Gok. This is number 18 in the overall Converge. It is physically a different mold. They have, you know, this doesn't have the clear windows over the eyes. It's just open. So it's, yeah, a totally different mold. But now they did update the mold later on. This is number 223, and now you can see this is basically color variations, right? Whereas this one just has a slightly metallic blue. This is a very, very metallic bluish color. The claws are aqua, these are gray. This just has your standard black base. The eye is much, much pinker inside of this guy than that guy. Also the vent colors are a little bit different in shading. Yeah, and the main thing is that weird, the little Zeonic logo. Yeah, otherwise it's the same mold. Sadly, this one, the backpack, just isn't done well, so that's unfortunate. So you'll see the pegs, the stands, they're not the greatest. I very often use poster putty to keep them from shifting around, but I do like them because I can put the number or description on there. So let's let these guys go for a spin and before we do the other ones. those are definitely different molds, these red ones. The Z-Gok is one of my favorite Gundam chassis or suits, so I'll keep all 4 of these. I like them enough. Alright, let me switch over. So when I get the gun cannon, this is number 178, and it's physically, yeah, definitely the same mold, but clearly different shades of color. Right, this is a much more vibrant orange. This is basically maroon. Even the guns, they're identical but different in colors. This one also had those optional pods, so I'll definitely keep both of these because these literally are physical shapes. These cannons or whatnot on them. This is very metallic, very matte. So yeah, those are the differences between those two guys. Now for the GM, let's see, so GM-261. Yeah, again, different colors for the weapons. This GM has metallic hands. The newer one just gray. Right, and the overall body is a different color itself. This is like has a greenish hue to it, or maybe it's my lights, I don't know. Or this one has a slightly blue or purple hue to it. The visors even have different green shading going on in there. So again, this one doesn't have the printing that's here. Even the gun metallic in the little elbows. This seems brighter, almost chrome. Whereas it is metallic, but not as bright. Alright, so and here's a shield. This is much matte, the old version. This is a little bit brighter, I guess, or glossier. Yeah, same with the feet. These feet seem like the red's glossier than the red on that one. So let me let these guys go for a spin. You can pause it as you need. Alright. The last two are the gun tanks. So this gun tank here is number 184 in the lineup. And these are still different. You know, the cockpits are different translucency, but otherwise they're much closer than the other figures so far. Naturally, these are metallic. These are just matte gray. This red is a little brighter. It doesn't have the logo there. The cannons are very shiny here, not so much here. These very matte finish. Get some gloss. Alright, so that's those two guys. Now the RX-78 is the biggest difference. This is a pretty older mold, number 98. It's the detail up version of the RX-78, but this is pretty much what it's supposed to look like in the original cartoon show. You know, this kind of color scheme. Whereas this is not the color scheme to my recollection, but again, prove me wrong, tell me I'm wrong. What is nice is, you know, the molded in chassis number in the EFSF. This one doesn't have that, but this one actually has air passing between that little sight window. And then, yeah, there's basically just more molded details on this detail up version, whereas they kind of dumbed down the mold with the newer one to look more like the cartoon. But this one has a bazooka and this one does not. And it's a different weapon as well. Well, maybe it's not. It's just that this it's just so shortened, truncated, you know. This hand is a lot smaller as well. Yeah, this has that molded in EFSF, which is cool. Okay, let's let these guys go for a spin. That should do. So pleasantly, I'm going to keep all of them, the old ones and the new ones. They're significantly different enough in their colors that I like them all. You know, these are much more pimped out, it seems, with the much glossier, brighter metallics. And the base is interesting. Yeah, so I'm happy. You might want to pick up this set. I actually bought them all individually. It took a few months to actually get them at a decent price individually. I'm actually surprised they didn't just come out with a set of 6. It would have been easier that way. Okay, well, I'll see you in the next Converge video. Thanks for tuning in.